Welcome one and all to a really quick video I had to make for this week. If you're regularly tuning in for my N64 game content, don't worry, as that is still coming your way soon. We're just taking a little break here to talk about the brand new character in Street Fighter 6, Ed, as well as some of the updates Capcom put into the game to balance things out a little bit. This has been confirmed to only be a minor balance patch, as the real hefty balance patch is still yet to come, but there are quite a few neat changes here that I think we should talk about. But first, Ed. I never really played Ed in Street Fighter V, but I know a lot of his special moves weren't performed with motion inputs, which was a huge point of contention over the character back then. This time around, he will be having motion input special moves in classic mode, leading most people to believe that his initial inclusion in Street Fighter V may have been the way that they were kind of testing the waters for a control style like modern controls to be put in their next game. The combo trials here, though, are crazy fun. There weren't any that I had a really hard time with getting used to inputting, aside from maybe the shenanigans you get to play around with his level 2 super, but they were still decently challenging all things considered. You've got some specifically timed jumps mid-combo, a special move that can be followed up with an immediate punch press or a slightly delayed one leading to different combos, and a couple of sweet tether combos to boot. If you're looking for a character with some wild combo building opportunities, which you know I am judging by my last video playing Aki for the first time, you're definitely going to want to give this character a shot. I can't wait to see how people are going to be playing him in high ranked matches, and I'm excited to see the way that he develops over time as a competitively viable character, and honestly, I think it would be really cool if he ended up being a very strong tournament character. But let's get back to these balance tweaks. Capcom started off the patch notes with a couple of paragraphs talking about what their goals were with this patch. The first one here says they wanted to improve characters that couldn't fully express their potential in-game. Some characters have had a harder time than others playing their game versus stronger opponents, and the patch notes reflect how they meant for the characters to play. They also point out that this is primarily meant to help Jamie and Ryu succeed more in areas that they couldn't before. So let's take a look here. Firstly, Jamie has a new drink animation he's able to get after forward throw. Sacrificing his Oki situation, he can instead buff himself up in a scenario that he wasn't able to before, which should help in the drink building process. His level 1 super is seeing a slight damage buff, as well as pushing him back less than it used to in moments where his opponent is getting hit in the corner, and his opponent will stay on the ground for 5 more frames than they used to. His level 2 super gives him full drink level, but when it runs out, you won't return to 0 drinks anymore. You'll instead return to the exact amount that you had before using level 2. This is a change I think people have been talking about giving Jamie since the game came out, and I'm glad to see it's represented in this new patch. Next we have Ryu, whose changes I would say firsthand should be pretty significant. Light Hashigeki is no longer jab punishable, which is wonderful. This move can now serve more purpose in neutral than it could before as a quick attack, especially with the added benefit of light and heavy Hashigeki knocking the opponent back less on block. For medium and heavy Hashigeki, the hitbox and projectile clashing hitboxes of the move have been adjusted forward more than before, allowing you to use Hashigeki defensively a little more effectively as well. OD Hashigeki is also seeing these hitbox shifting changes as well as the knockback decreasing changes. Denjin Hasho also gives the hitbox changes and knockback decrease on block, as well as having the OD Denjin Hashigeki dealing 400 more damage, which I personally think is kind of nuts. This actually gives one of my favorite mid-screen Ryu combos 300 more damage at the end of all things, and that's just crazy. Ryu will definitely become more explosive than ever if utilizing this move correctly. Lastly for Ryu, his hurtbox on his arms during Hadoken and level 1 super have been reduced slightly in order to help him trade less than he used to when he was using these moves. I'm pretty damn happy with these changes, as I've been playing a ton of Ryu these last couple months. There are plenty of other characters seeing changes here in this patch as well, but Jamie and Ryu were the big ones. If you'd like to see everything that's changing, I recommend looking up the patch notes or just clicking on the link in my description to read it for yourself, but here are some of the crazier ones. Ken's forward throw in the combo now leaves you with plenty of space between you and him, giving him more difficulty in the way of corner throw loops. Luke crouching medium punch is now more vulnerable than ever to whiff punishing. Zangief can combo OD Lariat now into level 3. JP's regular and OD Amnesia combos now have significantly more damage scaling than they did before. Rashid's OD spinning mixer is now fully invulnerable to aerial attacks until the end of its active frames, and Aki's standing medium punch as well as her crouching jab hitboxes have been shifted forward slightly to help them connect more effectively. These changes outside of Jamie and Ryu are all generally pretty minor things, but there are more things that I didn't list here that you should read over if your character is being affected. But as minor as some of these may seem, I think they'll have huge implications when it comes to being applied in game. I'm excited to see how these changes are received and how they affect affect the game moving forward, because in reading through it, I agree with pretty much all of them. Let me know what you think of Ed and his game-changing update in the comments down below, and come back next week if you want to see more of my regularly scheduled programming on N64 games. Next week I have a video coming out that will be covering an old relative to the Mortal Kombat series ported to the N64 straight from the arcades, and you're not going to want to miss that. If you'd like to see some of my other content, click on one of the suggested videos you see on the screen now. But until next Friday, my name is Myloe, and I'm out.